till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Rising with each beat of the music is bringing. We're flames in the fire that keeps burning. We're inviting the night in. Welcome, my heart so full. I'm devoting myself to the night. There's no motive. We're just listening. We're existing.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to week 5 of CEA Summer League. And my golly, we do have a nail biter on the front lines for you guys, as you will get to indulge your eyes upon Marquette University taking on the CEA Rejects. My name is CDAPS, and I'm joined here by a new face on the scene, and you can call him Taco.
Oh, C-Daps, let me tell you something right now. I am absolutely pumped to be here on this beautiful Canada Day. A day that, means a lot to me, means a lot to you, means a lot to boys and girls all across the globe. And I'm just pumped to get into this match against the CEA Rejects and Marquette. The CEA Rejects, bit of a rogue outfit of misfits and ne'er-do-wells. Really interesting to see how they're going to handle themselves going up against a more, organized stack in Marquette. What are your thoughts going into this match?
You know, I always have to root for the underdogs. I personally know a few people on this roster. Leary has been a part of the
Oh,
of the
lovely.
NCSU scene since I
Mhm,
joined in
mhm.
here, as well as Cherish is actually one of my casting partners. I've indulged in quite a few games with him in the booth with me as well, and being able to finally see him in on the action is definitely going to be a treat to feast on. However, I also have casted Marquette, and they are a pretty decent team, I do have to say. They're definitely going to have an uphill battle ahead of them. And with it being week 5, there's going to be a little bit of playoff implications on the line. I don't know the full story behind both of these teams and where they stand in their rankings, but I do think that they're going to definitely give it everything they've got.
You brought up Leary, and I think this is going to be someone to watch, ladies and gentlemen. Leary, a bit of a linchpin in the CEA rejects stack here. Me myself personally do know Leary. He was my team captain, my IGL in my first season of CEA, and just getting to watch him as you're on the battlefield with him, just taking out opponents left, right, and center has been something that's I've been absolutely blessed to watch. But now getting to see this from a third person perspective, see how he operates, I am I mean I'm on the edge of my seat, and I would assume everyone else is as well.
Yes, we can go ahead and talk about the rosters here. CGA rejects are comprised of Leary and Tiritus, the boy Sniper Wolf, Eraser Rain, and Cherish. And over on the Marquette side, they've got Novon V2, Baboon, Aviator, Stevo, and Miguelito, who I'm probably just going to call Miguel, or else I will butcher that name really badly.
And I am interested to see how this is going to play out, as the first map we have is going to be Cafe Dostoevsky, a long-standing map in the CEA rotation, as Marquette is going to be defending first. It's going to be interesting to see how these bands play out, and this will probably give us a big, sneak peek into how this entire match is going to play out based on these bands.
Yeah, Cafe is one of those maps that it can be played in a very structured way. I almost think when you think about maps, there's almost 3 pools. You have your traditional, like you can play them rank style, like aggressive maps.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like your coastline, your consulate to a certain extent. You have those maps. Then on the far right, you have your really, really structured maps. You have your border, your villa, your theme park.
Mm-hmm.
And Cafe definitely leans more into the middle. However, with how these bands go out, it really will shape the entire map going forward. And seeing a hard breaching pair with the Thatcher Maverick going down, it is going to be increasingly difficult to get these necessary walls broken into, and definitely might allow for a lot more of a defender-sided meta.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I think it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because map 2 today, we do have Clubhouse, which is one of those more, like you mentioned, a more structured map where personally I feel like I could play, an attack on Clubhouse blindfolded, because just about every time I'm doing just about the same thing. But Cafe is known more as a more dynamic map. So I am going to be interested to see how these two teams both start out and how they adapt as the match goes on.
Yeah, and one thing that they won't be adapting to is you might see Echo is not banned, which is sort of something a little bit unfamiliar if you follow the collegiate scenes. However, due to the recent controversy with Echo drones not being able to be shot, he has been locked up in quarantine just like the rest of us here in the United States, and he will not be seen in this last week of the regular season.
And as this first operator pick phase has begun, I'm interested to see Leary actually switch off of the Ash, which he originally seemed to be leaning towards, which is a bit of a Leary specialty, just kind of going in for that entry frag and just, well, I got probably more often than not dying. And he's going to 6-pick back onto the Hibana, a bit of mind games, and Steve-O going to be switching from the Frost onto the Goyo, maybe making these attackers have to think twice as they're vaulting through windows or maybe over deployable shields that maybe, just maybe, there's a bear trap on the other side.
However, we are going to see the primary hard breach of Leary go ahead and give a little sneaky 6-pick onto the Blitz. And I don't know about you, I'm kind of excited to see how a high-level Blitz plays, especially when he's goated enough to have the elite skin on. So very obviously he plays a lot of Blitz and is quite familiar with all of his mechanics. Maybe we're going to see just the entire enemy team milked right off the rip and just knocked straight down to the ground by a giant slab of metal. But when you have somebody like Steve-O who has taken the Goyo, placing those Vulcan shields, it is a very good counter to any sort of shield play that you might see coming out of CEA rejects.
And the shield pick is an interesting one. I akin the shield pick to kind of like driving a manual transmission car, right? It's a little bit more difficult to get right, but once you do, it can be really effective. And, Leary, as skilled as he is going to, I assume, have no problem. When I think of, effective shield players in the Siege scene, you have Pingu, one of the greatest players of all time, if not the greatest player of all time in some people's eyes. And then there's Leary, and I would probably say the closest second anyone's gotten to. As you see, the man's aggression is second to none. Using one bullet to get rid of that camera, and then the rest of these are going to be finding domes if I'm a betting man.
Yeah, and he's rushed all the way up to the top of Red Stairs. He's just going to tank the barbed wire right and find the mute over in here, and he's going to get right up in his business and knock him straight down with the knife. And there's also was another pick as Enteradus was able to pick up one. Eraser Rain's going to continue the fragging action as Baboon falls in quick manner, and it's a 2v5 on site as Leary has another one in his sight line, and he's going to be blinding him away, knocking the Goyo down to the ground as Eraser Rain picks up Migueletto, and CEA rejects hit the flawless round for round one of Cafe.
I'm sorry, Debs. I just blinked, and I think I missed that entire round. Leary, the man is an absolute freight train, and he just bulldozes his way on the site, and his team follows. No problem taking out that mute right off the bat, and the rest of them fall like sad little bowling pins under Leary's, 15-pound bowling ball going right down the middle. Absolutely beautiful stuff on that first attack, really setting the tempo here.
Yeah, setting that tempo up strike, that was an absolute Panzer strike coming out of Blitz right here, as he is going to let us in a little bit. He dropped in chat exactly what he said to the team. For the round, don't worry, boys, we got this. We are gods. As Blitz will be 6 picks into Blitz, as the mind games are going to continue to play out on the side of the CEA rejects, as, like we said before, they're going to have the uphill battle, but when you come out swinging like this, you're going to actually be picking up the Hibana instead, probably going for a more traditional attempt at getting some breaches, as typically a rush strat, such as we saw on the first round, doesn't work twice. But when you're Leary and you can do the impossible, you can make Lightning hit that same point as many times as you desire.
I think it's going to be interesting now to see how this defense sets up differently to try to prevent what they think is going to be another blitz rush. As you know, the 6-pick was used to switch on to Hibana. So in their mind, they're still bringing a blitz. So I'm interested to see how this defense sets up. Because last time, that blitz came right up Red Stairs, and you had one playing in Cigar, which is, pretty unique. But you had the shield set up in Pixel, but no one was playing it. And so Blitz was able to waltz down Whitehall and make his way into Cocktail and just do some real damage from the backside, as the defense was unable to rotate fast enough just because of the pure speed and aggression of that blitz that, I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm mildly terrified from what I've seen.
Yeah, like I'm getting some secondhand scaring out of the side. I'm feeling like I'm Marquette, and I'm trying to put myself in their shoes, and I'm just quaking in my boots as soon as I hear that very distinct metal clanking around as the German man of Blitz just flies on into sight. But now we're going to see a little bit more finesse, most likely coming out of the CEA rejects, as Aviator's actually unfortunately going to get the first 2 kills onto Cherish and Terrace as he picks up a double on a little bit of a cheeky spawn peek in an aggressive play. However, the mute does not seem to know as Leary picks up 1. However, he's going to be instantly refracted. His reign of terror inside of Piano is going to be cut a little bit short, as Steve-O had a couple of bullets with his name on it.
Goyo adapting from the last round and actually having time to make his way back to Pixel and to get that refrag onto Leary, who once again just seemed to sneak his way onto site. Very, very classic Leary. Usually when I'm, playing with him, I'll look up and I'll see that, he's, gotten a kill, or more often than not, just died right away. And, I have no idea how he gets into sight. So being able to watch it from this perspective is actually really enlightening. And I'm in awe. I am in awe. And I'm sure you are as well.
Yeah, it's truly a spectacle here, but it's going to be left all up to Sniper Wolf and Eraser Rain as they climb the mountain of a 2v4 clutch potential here, but with a lot of utility on the other side of Marquette. You still have the Goyo shields up. You've got the actually the Meister Cam's just going to be blasting away a good amount of health onto the Nomad as he's getting in a little bit nervous situation. He knows that the walls are closing in on him. However, Eraser Rain has finally gone up with him, but Baboon's just going to swipe right on through into actually both here. He's just gonna get everybody. Actually, nope. Aviator picks up his 3rd kill of the round, and he's gonna tell the camera no as he takes the head off of the Zofia, and will finally even up the score line here on Cafe.
Aviator getting 2 aggressive kills right off the bat in that round, and that actually shifted the tides a whole lot more than you probably realize just losing 2 people. Because Leary, with his plan to play aggressive like that, once he got refragged, that went from a 3v4 to a 2v4. And I feel like that aggressive play doesn't really fit when you lose 2 people right off the bat. And those picks have been huge in locking down this 2nd round.
I don't know if you saw exactly what I saw, but I think I saw a little bit of a pocket strat being flashed by the CEA rejects. As actually Leary is going to, I thought he was going to play Ace, who is still illegal to play, but he's just going to switch back onto the Habana. But I saw a Finka with multiple shields, which is a very viable strat if you have those players who are willing to
stop it.
If you have a great Monty player who, if you didn't know, a couple of seasons ago, Monty's ADS speed got nerfed into the ground, and you feel like you're pulling your gun up through an entire pool of molasses. As soon as you hit that Finka boost button, it's right back to pre-patch Monty.
Look,
and you can just pop heads with people not even expecting you to be able to ADS as fast as you can.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to just go ahead and apologize on behalf of CDAPS for, using this time, that should be about Marquette and CEA, to inject his pro-Finka narrative, which I think doesn't really fit. One thing that has caught my eye, though, is I see in Terrace on the Dokubi actually going to be bringing the Boss G. And if he can find himself a dome with that, I am going to be very impressed, because that is a tough weapon to use right. But when it is used right, it's like a fast break slam dunk, you know what I mean? It's a big momentum play right there. So I'm actually interested to see how that's going to play out in this round as they are attacking the downstairs kitchen.
Yeah, and they're most likely going to be going for a traditional bakery take, as they have the Thermite. It's going to be all up to Eraser Aim and Cherish on the soft freeze squad to most likely infiltrate their way on into Train. But Leary's just going to go straight into small bakery, or wedding if you prefer that term. Is going to be blasting through that soft wall, trying to find anybody who would have been unfortunate to be in his crossfire. But as the hard breach is going to go, and he's going to take out Aviator, getting a little bit aggressive onto that jump out. But Leary's going to read into that aggression, because you can't quite out-aggress an aggressor. Even if he's on a traditional support role with the Thermite, he's going to turn that straight into a Fragmite.
And now we see a more traditional take into this bakery as the Thermite's trying to get a breach onto this wall, trying to get this stuff, the electrified stuff, off the wall, as Steve-O is going to take out Leary. And that's your hard breach down. Unfortunately, it appears that no one's got down in sight, but Doc's going to pick him back up as he's trying to hold onto this kitchen service site. Jaeger on the flank. Sniper Wolf's going to have to try to get some Nomads down to try to prevent these flanks, because right now Steve-O has done some serious damage taking out their hard breach, and I don't assume he intends on stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, in the position he's playing over towards those bottom red stairs, he has the potential, and he's going to take full advantages. He's going to take out one and drop down. Actually, Baboon's going to swing him out, but Cherish is going to get that refrag onto the player on the stairs. The Jaeger is gone, but it is still in the main advantage for Marquette. And they have Miguel, Baboon, and Novan still alive. A couple of ACOGs and powerful weapons on their side. And Sniper Wolf and Cherish will be trying to get this clutch out. They do have the diffuser right on next to them and will have it back in their control quite quickly. But they are going to have to go against just some players all playing on site, and they don't have a whole lot of map control. They're playing a little bit more timidly here, trying to figure out exactly where they want to attack without a hard breach, as the droning is going to go over towards the bottom brown area. Actually, just a flank drone for somebody to watch this. Cherish is going to do a little bit of home decor removal in the form of breaking all of those floors, making it a lot harder for anybody to sit safe. But Baboon's going to swing out and take out Sniper Wolf, leaving it all up to Cherish, who is upstairs. And if Marquette did read into that properly, they do know that they have the diffuser in their control with only about 30 seconds left, as some more shots are going to go out, and Cherish is going to lose his head, and Marquette's going to take another round.
You know, something that's really interesting to watch is the CEA rejects came out in this map saying that we're going to bring the aggression, right? We're going to play fast, we're going to hit hard, and we're going to win rounds. And Marquette, after being caught off guard in that first round, said, you want to play aggressive? Let's show you how to play aggressive. I mean, you see, sometimes to their detriment as Aviator hops out of small bakery or wedding, as you like to call it, window. And, it didn't help. But just that aggression has, done some serious damage to the attack, leaving them often in 2v5 or 2v4 situations that, then they try to slow down, then they try to regroup and try to formulate an attack. But at that point, it's really too late. You see that they don't get vertical play going until it is a 2v4 with the diffuser down. And at that point, you already lost the round. So CEA Rejects really has to decide if they're going to go all out with the aggression. They're going to have to do it more than Marquette, because right now Marquette is out aggressing them. And so I'm interested to see how these two teams adapt their play style going forward.
Yeah, pretty much what I would want to say is every single time, it's usually with how, when you have aggression at this high of a level, it's whoever gets the first pick usually can win the round. However, that round, the CEA Rejects did get the initial engagement onto that bandit, but it wasn't quite enough, as Stevo and Baboon just took the team right on their shoulders. And probably have to visit their chiropractors after putting that back.
And now we see the traditional third site in this rotation in the reading room and meeting room site. I'm going to be interested to see how they decide to set it up, because I don't see a castle, which is usually a pretty standard pick for this site. But it seems like Marquette, again, opting more towards the aggressive playstyle, wants to keep those doors open to kind of keep the attackers guessing on where they're going to be coming from, because you see a lot of speed on the defender side. I see one really true anchor in Novan, but other than that, I'm interested to see how they play it.
Yeah, most likely it's going to be a very heavy top floor presence coming out of Marquette, because a vertical control reigns supreme on this bomb site in particular, as you can just break the entire floor of the reading room, and that's where you're most likely going to try to execute your plan, unless you're going for something crazy, which, CEA Rejects might do. They could just rappel straight in the window, but unfortunately for them, they didn't bring in Amaro, which would have been a really great play to see, as there's not a whole lot of site presence coming out. You have Novan over inside of reading room, and you have Miguel Leito over in the train, as Aviator is actually going to be peeking really aggressively onto the new hatch here. Won't be shooting out, and actually will drop a little bit of damage, actually none at all. But the Finka boost is going to make sure that that damage is gone regardless, as one nade's going to go and almost rip apart Baboon, but he's going to vault in perfect succession. However, Aviator is going to find the headshot onto Leary, dropping the Finka and making sure none of those nanobots keep on getting deployed.
And now we see Aviator again holding more of an aggressive angle onto this skylight. Aviator having himself a pretty good first couple of rounds, going 4-2, and he doesn't plan on slowing down anytime soon, as he's now trying to challenge this Monty going down. And we see the upstairs hold coming out from the defenders. Like you said, it seems as though we have a mute and maybe a... Who was the other one upstairs? Was that Mozzie trying to hold down the upstairs?
I think it's the Legion.
The Legion, right. Just trying to slow down those attackers upstairs as that Monty's trying to push through. I think he's got a goon his ankle, and that's going to be a big slowdown for this attack with only 1 minute and 14 left. They haven't even been able to take upstairs control. we talked about the aggression coming out from the attackers, and it seems like they kind of learned their lesson after these 2 defeats and tried to slow it down, but maybe they're slowing it down a bit too much, as Aviator and Stevo are going to get frags onto these attackers, leaving the poor Sniper Wolf in a 1v5 situation with little to no map control at all, as he does get the Mozzie and Miguelito. And now it's a 4v1 situation with only 48 seconds left and the diffuser down elsewhere on the map. It seems like a very unwinnable situation, but if it could happen, it can happen in Summer League. And Marquette is going to close it out as the jump scare from Baboon, jumping down onto red stairs, able to get that frag onto the Nomad as she is putting down her mine. And unfortunately for them, the attackers are going to be going down 3-1 on this cafe map.
Yeah, it was actually really calculated aggression from Baboon on jumping down to that area. Because if you didn't know, Nomad's air jabs have about a 1 to 2 second cooldown period when they are shot, where they aren't immediately active. So by vaulting, getting that vault prompt and just jumping straight down the staircase, not only was the air jab rendered ineffective, but Sniper Wolf was just also in a position where he was trying to switch back to his gun, and he was just a sitting duck at that point. But going back upstairs to the 3rd floor bar cocktail lounge, we're going to see a BB on Cherish actually scratch that, going to be bringing the sniper of Cali, or maybe we're going to get to see some insane CSGO level op flips, or maybe he's going to just phase up and drop a Call of Duty montage on us. But the Blitz has returned for Leary, but this time they actually have a hard breach squad in the form of a Thermite and Hibana Wombo combo.
The Cali pick is actually, you know, a little less upsetting than it used to be in the past with her recent acquiring of Clash's SMG, which has made her a lot more dangerous in close range situations, because usually on a 3rd floor like this, where there's no really outside for Cali to sit and hold those long angles, this would be a pretty bad pick. But now that she does have that SMG, which if I believe correctly, you told me that it does the same, has the same DPS as the F2, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe it's very similar. That little machine pistol hits like an absolute truck. It's like a Fiat 500.
It's crazy. Those like first 5 bullets, you're not going to be seeing a lot of recoil too. It does get a little bit squirrely after that, but you know, if Cherish can find a way to get some headshots in those first 5, or even get some body shots, I can see some serious damage done by that SMG. As a former, you know, Clash main myself, I'm a bit partial. You know, you got me. I got a little bit of bias here, but man, I'm excited. I am excited.
I'm excited to see Leary potentially just fly his way on into sight once again. However, there's somebody with the window prepped and has a read on into Leary's entryway. However, Eraser Rain is going to get the refrag back on Aviator, but by losing your shield, it's not going to be the ideal situation, because the Blitz was the backbone linchpin of how CEA Rejects have been able to get their first round here. However, it's not going to be quite enough this time. The hatches are going to be broken, and the drones are going to start popping off all into sight, as CEA Rejects are going to try to collect as much intel as possible onto the locations of all these defenders. And Terrace is going to pick up one, but Stevo is going to get that quick refrag. Once again, playing over towards the pixel corner, masterfully using that absolute warthog of a vector with a bullet hose down range. He's going to keep on peeking these aggressive angles here, trying to cut off any entrance over towards the traditional New Bow and Cocktail Cigar Lounge area. Cherish is going to be upside down repels and going to be breaking a shield with that LV Lance of Cali, as well as trying to no-scope out the... Ooh, Stevo gets an absolutely disgusting shot and rips the head right off the Cali, leaving it all up to Sniper Wolf and Eraser Rain once again. Probably my most used phrase so far, as Eraser Rain is going to be dropping his double kill, finally ending Steve-O's fiery path over towards the pixel corner. There are still Maestro cams on the board, and the Maestro is playing over towards Evan New Balk area. He's going to keep on trying to use these open to long angles to pick off anybody in his crosshairs, as well as Miguelito's over towards pallets, making sure that there is no escape for these players as they slowly get pinched inside of the piano. He's actually going to get some shots over onto the Zofia, as the Zofia will now be in a down but not out state. Actually, pardon me, that was Novon on the Maestro using those long angles to finally drop them down, as Miguelito is going to be swinging here, and it will get punished for his over-aggression as Sniper will pick up a kill with the Thermite. And the Zofia actually has withstood and is on about 5 HP, but still alive and kicking, putting it into a 2v1 advantageous position for the CEA Rejects, leaving it all up to Novon on the clutch. There's only about 35 seconds left, and some breaching is going down, offering some nice avenues on an entryway into sight, and I'm excited to see how the rest of this round pans out.
A bomb has been located.
very aggressive play right off the bat has led this to a very interesting 2v1 situation with only 24 seconds left, as Novan is trying to send some bullets down range, using every round that ult has got left, as he is going trying to get a reload down. Now might be the time for the attackers to get a plant, but this default cam might be spotting out the attackers, the remaining attackers, as Novan finally finishes a reload that feels like it takes forever, and now has a post-plant situation with 40 seconds on the clock and 2 attackers to deal with.
I mean, I do have to say, if there's anybody in a clutch position, you definitely want your Maestro here. 81 bullets, a whole lot of pain that can go down range, but it doesn't even matter, as Eraser's going to pick up his 3rd kill with a beautiful headshot and get the 2nd round on the board for the CEA rejects.
This round played out pretty much right off the bat, very similar to how the previous rounds have, right? Where you see a lot of aggression from both attack and defense, but then some pretty smart refrags, you know, as you saw that Zofia get the refrag onto someone in Small Bakery, and you saw that Goyo get the refrag in Piano, and that left it in a pretty even situation even after all that aggression. You know, the defense did get a pick, but then you saw Eraser Rain and Sniper Wolf kind of, you know, slow down and realize, hey, we still got a minute 15, and we have Piano and we have Cigar Control. So they used that to their advantage. And once again, the Mozzie tried to play even more aggressive when that Zofia did get down, which is, you know, debatably a smart play, not a smart play. It depends on if you realize that it is a Zofia that's been down who can pick herself up. But nonetheless, that aggression was punished by Sniper Wolf, leaving the poor Maestro in a 2v1 situation. And you guys all saw how that ended up with the attackers getting their 2nd round on Cafe.
You know, honestly, at this point for CEA rejects, you're definitely sitting pretty right now. If it may have been a little bit of a rough patch in the middle after your 1st round win, typically, but at the end of the day, you typically expect a 4-2 split on your Cafe attacks. So by already getting 2 rounds, they've really hit their expectations. If they can manage to get 3, then they're definitely sitting pretty and are in the driver's seats, absolutely, going into the half switch.
You know, the main difference between these two teams I'm seeing so far is that the Marquette side is definitely a more structured, you know, and practice side. But the lack of structure, you know, and the lack of, you know, kind of planning on the side of the attackers has led to some unpredictability that I think Marquette has struggled to deal with. And I think that's how they were able to get those 2 rounds pretty early, both of which coming on the top floor. So it's interesting to see that Marquette does return to this top floor, even though this is the only site that they have lost.
Yeah, it's just sort of the, if you're familiar with Coastline, people have the hookah bias, where you just have your traditional quote-unquote first site that everybody's comfortable defending. It's like, oh, well, it's got to be the best. But maybe it's very similar on Cafe 3rd floor. Some teams are very, very, very good at defending it. Some teams struggle just a little bit and prefer Kitchen. So it really brings out the best into these teams. But with that, the fuse charges are going to blast over towards Heaven, as the fuse is just going to be going, and Eraser Rain is going to take out Baboon from the long angle, taking the head off the dock. And no, you cannot heal a headshot, especially not coming out of an absolute fragger like Eraser Rain. Now, Terrace is up, peeking the top skylight here, as Novan is going to take out Leary, but not before taking about 95 points of damage. Really unfortunate that the AK-12 was not able to finish that kill. And it has gone back to an even 4-4 count for both of these teams, as the rest of the players are playing over towards site, and Terrace is again just going to continue peeking the skylight, trying to see if anybody rotates and going to catch them off guard. Eraser Rain is going to start rappelling upside down over towards the piano windows, trying to get control of that very crucial room.
I assume to see a very similar strategy as Terrace does pick up Steva with that knock on the roof, which is not a very, you know, common pick or playstyle for a knock. You would, you know, more likely see a knock trying to sneak up a staircase, as Novan does pick up Sniper Wolf there, leaving it, and still in a 3v3 situation. Novan picking up a clutch kill with only 5 HP. Very impressive, leaving now down just to Cherish, Eraser Rain, and Imperatus to take out the remaining defenders, as Eraser Rain is going to be down, and Aviator is going to pick up 2, and Novan finishing off the 3rd as the attackers try to make their way into that piano room. Unfortunately met with a just brick wall in the form of these defenders, and that's going to be the half, with a pretty standard 4-2 split in round count.
Yeah, it's what you expect. You can't be really disappointed if you're in the side of the CEA rejects or on the side of Marquette. Maybe you could have wanted, like, we could have gotten a 5-1. That would have been cool. But at the end of the day, 4-2 split, pretty default. But it's all going to come down to the attacking rounds here. And what will be really interesting to see is what CEA rejects bring to the board on the defensive side, as we saw a lot of aggression and interesting plays. Maybe that will directly translate to the defensive side. Leary did tease it just a little bit in chat of maybe a Tachanka spawn peak, which I think would be absolutely amazing. Maybe we'll see some unorthodox things like maybe a Cav interrogation. That'd be cool.
One thing I think is gonna be interesting as these sides do switch is, kind of the lack of structure on the side of CEA Rejects. CEA Rejects a team comprised of just people, free agents who wanted to play in the summer league who didn't actually have a full stack to play with. So they just came together, banded together, and formed a team. And they've been playing pretty well despite just starting to play together. But that lack of structure that doesn't really seem to be that much of an issue on attack. You can just kind of play aggressive and play fast. But on defense, if you don't really have a lot of structure, that is going to leave you with a lot of holes that an experienced team like Marquette will probably be able to find and take advantage of.
Yeah, and when you have something such as the Blackbeard here, who's most definitely going to be hanging on the windows, trying to cut all of these angles, it's going to be really difficult for the CEA rejects to play any of these high traffic areas that you need to keep map control up, especially over towards Piano. Maybe even if Baboon rotates over towards the east side of the map onto all of those bar windows, that could spell a whole lot of disaster, as just window control is one of those things. It's an acquired taste. It's very powerful if used correctly, but it definitely has a learning curve. But when you have a plastic face shield in front of you like a Blackbeard, it makes things just a little bit easier.
And I think another big difference you see between these two teams is just the operator composition that they pick. You saw the last attack going upstairs. You had a Fuse, you had a Knock, you had a Cali. 3 operators you don't see a lot in competitive play. But, credit to CEA, they were able to, take those unconventional operators and actually use them to their advantage. But then you see Marquette on attack bringing a lot more standard of player compositions. Baboon does get one on to Cherish and is going to take some shots for his trouble from... Oh, sorry, he gets the shot onto Cherish, and then Terrace does get the damage on him. But he does have another shield that he's going to try to use to maybe cause a little bit more trouble for this, for the CEA side. And I'm now interested to see how things play out going forward.
Yeah, there hasn't been any trading going on here. So Racer Rain's going to take a whole lot of damage, but Terrace is going to jump out the window and take out Baboon, and he's going to be dropping the long walk of victory. However, he might just run straight into the loving arms of Novon. Actually, somebody else is going to down him, and he's going to just swing back up and take that kill. Aviator's going to get another kill onto Sniper Wolf, leaving it all up to a Racer Rain on site, and he has that UMP in hand, but it doesn't matter. He's going to pick up one. But MiG is just going to finish that all off with the superior weapon of the M762, repping the blues of the Elite Sophia, finishing up that refrag and taking a nice clean round for Marquette on attack.
Aviator kind of shown himself to be a player to watch, as on defense he was able to scoop up a lot of frags on that roam with Jaeger, and his aggression on IQ has been just as much effective, getting himself 9 kills in these first 7 rounds. And I'm interested to see how he continues to, find some holes in the CEA reject side.
Yeah, it's it's one of those things that IQ is a very, very just insanely good operator. She has one of the most insane kits with the ability to just take out any... Yeah, I see it too. I'm just going to stop my rant right there and talk about what we're all thinking. And that's the Tachanka 6 pick coming out of Leary. As the Lord has been brought into the game, we're going to see the Russian Warlord probably setting up his turret inside a Piano and start blasting away with that LMG that's mounted and loaded.
I mean, you got to love Leary. I mean, just watching this from the sidelines, he's giving you, a ton of interesting stuff to watch. Just, the blitz rush right off the bat. Now you got the Tachanka spawn peak. I'm sure that, this one's, if I'm guessing, going to be a little bit less on the effective side. But then again, if the attackers aren't able to drone that out and find where the spawn peak's coming from, it can be really dangerous. I would say Tachanka's probably got the cleanest iron sights in the game, because it's just 4 little lines right there, right in the center of your screen. And so if Leary can find himself a sneaky spot to get this Tachanka turret down, who knows? I've seen Leary do crazier things.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, I think he can take out anybody on the roster except Miguelito, because it seems in chat all my homies love Mig. But Leary's going to be just blasting away the cafe door, because that's where he's going to be placing up his turret, trying to catch. Oh, he got it wrong.
Yeah,
He doesn't
let me
have the
scratch
lineup.
sneaky.
Yeah, it's not sneaky anymore. It is full send craziness. As he also, if you notice, he has the sausage. He has the suppressed sausage here. But it doesn't matter as the PMM gets whipped out and Leary one taps the absolute mess out of Baboon on the buck. And that's actually a gigantic pick, but he's going to have the shots whiffed on him as he swings out and runs once again. I do believe that that was Novon trying to get a refrag, but he's just terrified of what might lie around the corner. Eraser Rain's going to pick up Aviator, taking the fragging potential of the Ash out of the equation as the first 2 kills go onto the side of CEA Rejects. And on a top-down roam clear such as this, it's not the position that you want to be in. Your buck is off the board, leaving only Stevo on the sledge to do any of that remodeling you want to do, opening up those angles, as well as your Ash, who has a lot of utility burning capability, is going to be removed as well. And also in conjunction with that, there's already about 1:10 off the clock as well, and there's not really any map control into the side of the attackers.
Yeah, one thing I mentioned earlier that I think now is actually the opposite happening is I talked about how the lack of structure and maybe the unpredictability might, hinder the defenders. But in this case, it's actually been, a great asset to have, as no one's going to expect a Tachanka, running out of bakery, getting someone repelling up on the side of the building. And you see also, the Marquette side doing a more traditional top-down, drone everyone in and play vertical, right? But the defenders, which, usually you would expect some roamers, you expect some resistance. So you have to take your time and clear those roamers. But the defenders have gone full turtle strategy, which is something, probably no team like Marquette would expect. And it leads them now down to having little to no map control with only a minute left. I mean, you do have the sledge above, but it's not going to be doing any sort of damage because the defenders still have full control of bakery, and that's going to be really hard to take, as Leary is just going to be sending some rounds down range, and Sniper going to pick up Stevo, leaving it in a 2v4 situation with Novon and Miguelito to try to close this out, as the Thermite is going to try to get a breach onto that backside of sight, who's going to have to get through the Tachanka of Leary first, and that's no easy task.
He actually, I do believe he has set up his turret over towards plates, but Miguelito is going to pick out one, but Leary's going to get his second kill of the round on the turret, as Eraser Rain's going to clean it back up to Novon. If I'm counting correctly, Leary set up his turret in 3 different spots that round. And the final spot is finally where he got the kill.
It appears as though Leary has already gotten the rework on Tachanka, where his turret is now mobile. And he's using it to full advantage, because setting up his turret in places that you wouldn't expect is honestly something that's pretty interesting. And, a way to play Tachanka that probably not a lot of people do. A lot of people, when they play the Tachanka, they're just willing to just sit in one spot and play there till they die. But Leary says, no, I'm the aggressor here. I'm on attack. You got to fear me. And, seeing that he is going to opt to choose Tachanka again, we'll see how the 6-pick phase turns out. But he is so far threatening to stick it, as we do see that little check mark spelling disaster for the attackers.
Yeah, if you want to do a little bit of quick math, we're talking KD calculations. That's okay. 2 kills for the Tachanka with 0 deaths. So that's infinity.
Yeah,
it's infinitely better on the Tachanka than any other Opry has played.
Let me bust out the TI-84 CE. It actually run Doom, by the way. Pretty cool calculator. Yeah, no, that checks out. Infinite KD. That's crazy. We'll see if he can continue to do so. I don't really see how the attackers can win when there's a defender with an infinite KD. We'll see.
Infinity's a pretty big number at this point. So
you're not wrong.
CEA Rejects have been able to win another round on defense, bringing their total round total. I guess total round total. That's a great little bit of phrase that I'm comprising here. But at a scoreline of 5-3, Marquette still has the momentum on their side, and Reading Room will be the battleground choice of the CEA Rejects, as they have elected not to go upstairs, as they were kind of rolled up there last time around. They're going to try a little bit of a venue change and stay downstairs in the 2nd floor. They might have a little bit of upstairs presence, as that typically isn't necessary for a site such as on the 2nd floor of Cafe, but they might just turtle strat it out, because that is what has worked so far.
And a little bit of adaptation from the attackers as they did see that Tachanka. Oh, and there it goes as Steve-O is going to punish Leary for his hubris right off the bat. And there's the Tachanka off the board, going from an infinite KD to a 2 KD. And it's still, I mean, still good. It's no infinity, but it's all right. But, you know, you saw the adaptation from the attackers. Once they saw that Tachanka, they switched six-pick themselves onto the Capitao to try to maybe, you know, root out that Tachanka that caused so much damage on the first hand. And Terrace is going to hop onto the turret, pick up the crown as fallen off the Tachanka's head. We're going to see if he tries to catch any attackers off guard, but unfortunately it seems that the attackers have already made their way up onto the 3rd floor, and Terrace has decided to indeed abandon the turret.
Oh no. Oh, he actually gets away with it, as I thought it was just going to run right into the loving arms of Steve-O on the sledge, but the repelling timing just wasn't quite enough. On the side of the rest of the map, the attackers do have this top floor control, but they don't seem to know that Cherish has made his way into the bathroom. However, Baboon's going to pick up a kill on Enteritus, finally just stopping the Vigil, who was just shift FW the entire map, just running and making laps everywhere. And it does seem as if the Zofia, actually, he's going to be able to flick onto Cherish perfectly and take out the Wamai here. That was a very nice shot, as the Sniper Wolf is going to flank onto the Ash, but it's not quite enough, as there was another one laying in wait. Miguelito's going to get a quick little refrag and leave it all up to a racer on site. But the headshots are going to rain down from the heavens as he picks up his 3rd kill of the round and takes another point onto the side of Marquette.
This map is taking way too long. Miguelito, go get him. You know, we've been holding him back for too long. Go get him. Go do some damage. And I mean, I thought I was seeing John Wick up here in Cafe Dostoevsky because the man just didn't miss a bullet. Beautiful stuff, Miguelito. Beautiful stuff. Inspiring.
I guess if you look in the middle of Miguelito, there's a little bit of elite. That's where he is. He's just on a whole nother plane from the side of everybody else in this server. At the scoreline of 5-4 at the bottom of the team, he's really lifting everybody above him up. He's actually, Leary is going to be taken off the Tachanka and will be promoted to Doc, which is an interesting role for him.
It's really just a game of musical chairs, this operator selection screen. I don't even know what to say at this point. Let's say.
I mean, all you can say is this is what Summer League is.
Mm-hmm.
For CEA Summer League, you want the culture of still having fun while having competition. And to the side, oh man, that is an absolute abomination in the most beautiful way, as the Tachanka full rainbow unicorn is coming out. If you don't remember the April Fool's event last year for Rainbow Six Siege, was Rainbow is a Magic, and it was all rainbows and butterflies and just a beautiful skins coming out for everybody. And the Lord took a unicorn to the head as his hitbox just grows more massive. But I'm expecting Enteritus to just pop off this round with the rainbow.
One thing I did realize is Leary has opted for the El Médico de Rojo uniform on his dock, which is a uniform that's very near and dear to my heart. And hopefully he does it justice, because El Médico de Rojo is a part of the family. And does justice he will do! Getting the frag onto Miguelito right off the way. El Médico de Rojo is just a force of nature. El Chupacabra, I call him. El Médico de Rojo is just a force of nature. It's like a hurricane. You can't stop him. And Leary, you know, his aggression matched perfectly with his outfit. Unbeatable. Unbeatable. I'll say it. Am I allowed to say it? I'll say it.
But Baboon's going to pick up a 1 kill onto Cherish, dropping the alibi off here. But Sniper was going to get a quick little cheeky refrag on the Jaeger locked up inside of the freezer. He put that knock on ice quite quickly. And the CEA Rejects have the lead in the round once again. However, it is quite interesting as the Doc is just going to be sucking up all of his utility for himself, as El Médico de Rojo is just flying around everywhere. as the doc is just peeking everything and healing himself up. It is like trying to kill 3 people in the form of 1. As he actually whips out the revolver and is gonna try to give a little 1 tap to the skull, but it's not gonna
Dios
hit.
mío, el médico de rojo.
If you don't understand the reference of El Médico de Rojo, it is the Red Doctor, as Leary is gonna see red in the form of Steve-O, just pounding him out with the body shots. So the doc did have from the battle pass that red skin, so we affectionately call it El Médico de Rojo, as it is just a bright skin that only the most elite doc players play. But the elite sledge coming out as Steve-O's gonna take another kill onto Sniper Wolf. Aviator's gonna throw his hat in the bag, and Steve-O's gonna pick up a Racer Rain for the end of the round. And that is map 1 in the books, as Marquette takes a nice commanding lead in the series as the first round goes to them.
One thing I mentioned is, it's going to be interesting to see how these teams adapt. And funnily enough, it seems like neither of them did. It seemed like it was just aggression, right out the gate all the way to the end. And it seems as though Marquette was just a little more accustomed to playing with one another. And it shows, as Steve-O and Aviator are both going to pick up double-digit kills in this first map. And man, that was something interesting to watch. Those last couple of rounds were really a treat.
An absolute treat. But with that, the teams have opted to take a little 5-minute break in between maps to discuss some strategy, maybe go refill on some drinks, go to the bathroom, do anything of that nature. But we're also going to use that time to arrest our vocal cords. So in about 5 minutes, we will be right back into the action, as map 2 will be Clubhouse. So definitely stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, grandmas, grandpas, we are back for map 2 of this absolute barnstorm of a match between Marquette and CEA Rejects. We're going to be making our way onto the clubhouse map. I'm joined again with my good friend C-Daps. C-Daps, how you feeling after that first map?
I'm just absolutely gassed to have been blessed with the opportunity to cast that
Mhm,
absolute
mhm.
gem of a map. That was definitely one for the ages on Cafe, and I think it's going to get even better as we go to an even more structured map in the form of Clubhouse. We're literally going to see the brains of both of these teams in the form of Baboon and Leary. I believe those are the two IGLs for both squads, and that's what's going to be on display. We're gonna see who's got the square footage and the wrinkling of the brain and who's on the more smooth side.
Yeah, that was a good point. One thing I realized about Leary's leadership is often you'll see that he's one of the first couple people dead each round, but what you don't realize is that gives him more time to actually focus on his teammates and help coordinate his teammates, and that's if that's not brilliance, just in its purest form. Watching Leary play Siege is like watching Bob Ross paint. Is the closest way I can kind of describe it to everybody who hasn't had the opportunity to see it in person. Because it's just you get to sit there and watch a master do what he does best, and kind of bring you along for the ride, and it's a joy. It really is a joy.
Yeah, I think honestly at this point I can reference the old 2005 hit song of Do the John Wall where Duke can't stop me in the paint. I'm an artist. And I think Leary is at the point where he has ascended to above our spectator and he is the one putting on the show. If you didn't know,
Mhm.
Duke Card is the ones on the productions team tonight. He's our wonderful spectator here streaming for all of you wonderful people sitting at home and indulging on this high quality content as Baboon is going to talk about the target ban of the Blackbeard. CEA rejects just don't feel like dealing with that Navy SEAL.
If we're talking about target bans, I'm surprised we didn't see a blitz ban coming out from Marquette. That just, I, I would say that it shows that they're kind of stuck in their ways. But of course, the Thatcher ban is always something that's going to be accepted as a ban. But the blitz is just, oh, it's horrifying. If I had my way, right? Say I could control whatever operators I'm playing. I'm seeing Marquette. They're bringing a warden every round, and sure, I love me some warden. I love warden probably more than I love my own mother, and I love my mother. And so I just want to see some warden play. Is that too much to ask? I don't think it is. Am I being greedy? Maybe. Do I think it's wrong? No. Give me warden.
Warden is just one of those operators who he has struggled to find his place in the defined meta.
What do you
But you
mean?
can't say that he's not you can't say like, oh, Warden's a horrible officer. He just hasn't quite found the precise way and where he plants himself. It's like, yes, we need a Warden because the Smoke and Ying meta died.
Warden
I
is
thought
bad.
I thought the most recent Ying buff was just gonna bring Warden and blast him all the way up to an S tier operator. But Ubisoft was just like, yes, we hear everybody crying because their eyes are bleeding from the gigantic amount of candelas.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, we can't have Ying be that powerful once again. But speaking of power, we can talk about the G8 that's most likely going to be brought as Enteridus is bringing the Gara Hook lady herself of Amaru and could be seeing a really interesting, very fast entrance to site if they choose to do so. Actually, never mind. It's basement. I'm being kind of dumb. But maybe Enteridus could plant the bomb and
Zip up a
then Gara
hatch.
hook up the hatch.
Oh,
And that
that's
would
some
be a
Macy J
very
stuff. Yeah.
that would be a very, very great
Yeah.
post plant position.
And I don't want to pile it on you while you're already wrong, but the G8's not even going to come out. As
Oh, he has a
he's
supernova.
got the supernova.
Oh,
Oh man, a very interesting lineup. Once again from the attackers, something that you probably won't see anywhere else. CEA rejects playing in a way that not a lot of people have the stones, the cojones to play. You know what I'm saying, Holmes? And so
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how this plays out.
Leary has picked up his favorite operator of Ash. It's probably going to blast one of those breaching rounds here. Actually, Interidus is just going to be flying straight into blue, hitting all the barbed wire in his way. SMG-11 in hand, trying to get some frags, but the recoil's too much as Baboon picks up one, but Leary's going to get a quick little refrag. There's a whole flurry of kills here as both go either way. Leary picks up 2, Miguelito picks up 1, and Novon finally ends that quick little entry. And it's all up to Wilder and Sniper Wolf on the Jackal here. And the Thermite Sniper Wolf's going to turn into a Fragmite, pick up 1 kill and pick up another with 2 beautiful headshots onto Miguelito and another player here. And it's all left up to Aviator in a 2v1 position. He's over towards the bottom of Moto area, and he's going to be running into Wilder quite soon as he creeps down the main stairs. They seem to know that their location is quite close. However, El No Sabe potentially as Aviator's aggressively holding this angle, and here's this barbed wire being slapped away, and anybody might need a shave. It's going to be the head shave straight off of Wilder at the hands of Aviator, picking up a beautiful kill with that 416C carbine and leaving a clutch 1v1 ice in the veins. Hardest way to win a round, as Sniper Wolf's going to be braining off against Aviator.
And Aviator is going to be holding this church side of the site as Sniper Wolf is going to be putting down a claymore in between the sites, trying to hold back the aggression that Aviator has been showing these last couple rounds in both maps. And Sniper Wolf's trying to get that plant down now. Aviator does spot out the claymore and is able to get rid of it, but the plant does go down. Aviator's now in a post-plant situation as Aviator and Sniper Wolf now are in a battle of wits and a battle of stones. But Aviator, with a quick teabag there, decides to say, this round's for me and the boys. This one's going back home. And just easy peasy lemon squeezy 1v2 clutch. Aviator bringing home round 1. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, and with that defuse, it takes the first round back to... He also shakes his head no. He told him no.
He's feeling himself tonight.
Yeah, Aviator's just flying high on the momentum riding in from the 7-3 win that we saw last round on Cafe. And we are going to go back upstairs, or actually upstairs for the first time for Marquette. As you do the math, there's only 2 rounds. This is the second round, so they couldn't have played it. I'm being dumb. But CCTV Cash Room, the traditional primary site of Clubhouse, is what's going to be in rotation now, as Marquette's going to be trying to defend this with their lives. There's going to be an interesting line out once again coming out of the CEA rejects, as a Fuse and Gridlock are being brought for the Gridlock for the first time, Fuse for the second time. We saw Leary try to bring the elite Russian man, the hostage killer himself, into the lineup. Was slightly successful, not quite as successful enough. Actually, Leary's going to say, I don't want the Australian. I'm going to bring the Iron Drone himself in the form of the Monty, and we've already seen what sort of things Leary can do on a shield. And when you have an even bigger one in the form of Monty, maybe that's going to translate to even more prowess, even more kills.
One thing that's interesting to note is it feels like Interidus has just gone he's gotten these 2 unique operators in the Amaro and the Fuse, but it seems like he's done it in the reverse order. Like, he took the Amaro when they went downstairs. Granted, he couldn't know they went downstairs, but now he knows that, downstairs is off the block. And I'm struggling to think of a place where Fuse can really be applicable up here. If they were downstairs, Fuse could, rain some hell on those defenders, but it seems as though he probably won't be as effective attacking CCTV. I don't know if you have any ideas of where a Fuse could be applied, but I'm struggling to think of anything.
The only place I can think of is they don't have any really ways to get the bandit batteries off the wall. Maybe he just slaps it on the CC window, hope a puck flies all the way to the wall, or just burns out the ADSs and maybe scares away the bandit away from tricking for Sniper Wolf to try to get that wall open. Yep, he's going to be doing that. He's going to get pre-fired by the bandit. No, as Miguelito is just too elite here. Steve-O's also going to pick a kill up onto somebody else, but Leary's going to pick up Baboon, and Interidus is going to fall at the hands of Nitro as Eraser Rain is going to get a quick refrag onto Novon. And in about 45 seconds, it's already a 2v3, as each of these rounds are blink and you miss it, non-stop high-octane action.
And one thing we did forget to mention right off the bat is that the CEA Rejects did opt to sub in Wilder and for the second map. I don't think we mentioned that, did we?
No, I do not believe so.
Well, here he is, and he's doing stuff. It seems like as though he fits right in as he's already dead. So he's fitting in with the CEA game plan already. As another, 2vx situation seems to be pretty bog standard for a CEA rejects attack, but Leary in a pretty aggressive situation with this Monty, trying to hold these rafters and a racer rain, trying to get some picks around this Monty, trying to hold off these defenders who are trying to get increasingly more aggressive, try to keep this Monty off site, but Leary is going to keep poking and prodding, but constant pings onto these attackers are going to help the defenders find out where these attackers are. Leary pushing his way onto site and is going to... I don't even know what he did, but he falls to Miguelito because Miguelito is once again John Wick on the sticks, leaving poor Eraserain in a 1v3 situation against some very competent defenders in the forms of Miguelito, Stevo, and Aviator.
Yeah, it seems like it was a little bit too much QBC for my liking, which is why Leary lost that gunfight. But when you have the lean spam, sometimes you can get lucky here. But just like Eraserain's going to pick up Miguelito, ending him off, putting it to a more winnable and manageable 1v2 clutch scenario. However, he does have to go against the Frag brothers in the form of Aviator and Stevo, who are going to be a little bit more passive and level-headed in their positions. They do not know that Diffuser is outside of CCTV, and I think Eraserain's just going to say, screw it, I'm going to go for Frag, but narrowly misses the head of the Jaeger, aggressively peeking over towards the construction door. He's going to blast away some of these Zofia lifeline charges, trying to find the location. Knows that one is over on red, is going to be shooting him out just a little bit, but Stevo's just going to be too fast and too furious as Ellis. Scorpion is going to cause too much damage on the sister rivalry.
Honestly, some very impressive play from Eraserain there. I know he didn't clutch that out, but you saw that he was really giving it his all there. The guys were just kind of dancing right out of his crosshair right there. But when you're in a 1v3 situation, it's tough. That's a tough one, especially when you don't have the diffuser in your limited time. Poor Eraserain did what he could with what he had, but unfortunately the defenders are going to take the second round now, as they're going to make their way into the gym bedroom site, which is standard tertiary site for this map.
Yeah, bringing the castle is going to be a clear indicator that they're going towards gym bedroom. If you're on the side of CEA rejects, trying to read in if maybe they're going to try to blast their way into the bar bomb site, which would be a really interesting thing to see. But Marquette's not quite confident enough to bring that out quite yet. But gym bedroom, it's not a horrible site. It definitely is the tertiary bomb site in the 3-site rotation meta that we see here. But it definitely has its own way. I would say it's one of the more viable third bomb sites in the entire map pool, and that's why Clubhouse definitely swings on the defender-sided facet.
Say what you will about Leary, but the guy just gets himself some frags in just the sneakiest ways possible. He puts himself in situations that typically you would not expect for him to escape with his life, let alone a kill. And yet he has found himself 3 kills in these first 2 rounds. He is bringing the glass this time. I'll say this, if he stays outside the building for more than a minute, I'll be shocked. I don't even care that he's glass. I feel like he'll be in. Yeah, I feel like we'll be seeing some very aggro elite skin glass play, and I'm putting my money in.
Last time I saw a glass playing competitive in CEA was, unfortunately, I was on the opposite side of it in invite relegations against Simone Fraser, and it was Communist Waffle. And let me tell you, playing against that guy on the glass, grade A, like Stephen King horror movie, terrifying, not fun at all. He just sprints into sight and one-taps the mess out of you. He just got his banana vision on, and he's making everybody split out of his way.
I hated that. I just want you to know that just objectively did not like that.
And so I guess the bit didn't bite.
No, well, it bit, but it hurt. It hurt when it bit me. And the attackers are opting to go all 5 people on the garage side, trying to make their way into the CCTV and cache side of the map, which is something you want to try to get control of if you are going to attack gym bedroom. I know it seems a little bit counterintuitive, but you can set up some long angles watching into gym and bedroom, as the flank drone is going to see the Jaeger sneaking a little bit downstairs, and Eraserain and Wilder are going to try to negate some of the impact of this flank. I mean, typically with a Nomad, you don't really have to worry a lot about flanks, but it seems like they're going to try to send some resources. Wilder is going to take out Aviator with that aggressive Ash play. They have opened up into Cash, and Eraser Rain going to take out Miguelito, leaving the defenders in a 3v5 situation with a minute and 30 on the clock. Still a lot of time. It seems like the defense had a lot of resources invested on this east side of the map, as Stevo now is going to try to reconcile with Sight, because you do only have Novon on site lone as a bandit, but Baboon and Stevo are going to use these main stairs to try to get back onto site and try to slow this push from the attackers, which seems to be fully coming from the east side of the map, as Lear with the aggressive play does get taken out by Baboon, dropping. It seems as though Baboon did hear that drop onto the barbed wire, expertly placed, able to find out Leary and get the frag on him in turn, as now they're trying to take back some aggression onto this eastern side of the map. The breach coming out, and Baboon does get himself a double onto Eraser and Interitus. That breaching charge, you did not expect an aggressive Doc to be hiding right behind your explosive device, but there he was, able to get himself to a triple on the round for Baboon, as now the attackers are trying to figure out what to do, but Sniper Wolf says, I know what to do. I'll just click his head off.
Yeah, like I said earlier, you can't heal a headshot even if you're Doc, but Wilder's going to be playing on this window and has brought it back. Marquette was down at a 5-3, and they were able to, that's now evened at 2-2, so it's anybody's round. But as the clock continues to dwindle away, the defenders are just going to be watching these doorways here as the bandit's going to peek out, and the shots are not going to fully connect onto either party's heads. Sniper Wolf does have the diffuser, and he's going to have to get into sight and start happen away on that laptop, as Stevo's actually going to drop down Wilder, leaving it all up to Sniper Wolf, but Stevo's going to clean that up with the UMP and take another round and top off the full site rotation for Marquette so far.
Yeah, it seemed like Bandit that round just got to chill, as the Doc and the Castle were attacking on that east side of the map, or sorry, more aggressively defending on the east side of the map, and they both rotate up that main stairs and said, don't worry, we'll stop the attack right here. You chill in the bathroom. All right, maybe take a couple shots from the thermite, but we'll handle it up. We'll clean it up for you. And some very impressive play from the side of Marquette, as they do take the clean rotation of the 3-0 onto these sites, and they're now able to go back again to the basement and church and arsenal room. And now we do see the blitz coming out from Leary and the fuse from Interitus, which now it seems as though fuse is probably going to be a little bit more applicable in the basement.
Yeah, it's going to be the correct site here.
Oh, this lineup. Oh my gosh, it stinks. Oh, it smells.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can smell it from
here. We got the jackal, we got the line, we got the... Oh gosh.
Oh man.
That is rank. That is rank right there, ladies and gentlemen.
I wouldn't say it's quite ranked.
Like rank.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to.
Were you trying to pun?
Joke. I was trying to pun off it.
Stop it.
If you can't handle my dad jokes, get out of the booth.
All right. Well, it's been your boy Taco. I'm signing off.
And he actually did leave the call momentarily, so I guess I'm going to be solo casting this round until he decides to come back in. As Lear's going to be aggressively droning his... Oh, he's back.
You can go, though.
Darn. But going back down to the first floor bomb site in basement, it was a insanely crazy round that we saw the first time around, as there was just an absolute bloodbath inside of blue, which is sort of the opposite of what you would expect in a blue hallway. The walls got painted red with the blood of everybody that was inside. The Ash and the Blitz and just everybody sprinted in and started getting picks. But I do predict there's going to be a little bit more regard for human life on the CEA reject side, as the roam game has absolutely ripped them apart coming out of Marquette here. Aviator's going to get a nice spawn peek onto Sniper Wolf, and Interitus is going to pick up one on right back onto Aviator. Baboon's going to be swinging in. Is going to drop the blitz straight down to the ground with a beautiful headshot in the bar area. He's going to retreat all the way back into a safe position inside his sight, as Stevo is going to trade positions with him on this AUG Haid, making sure that those hatches not only stay unbreached, but the gunner's going to make the rest of these players not be able to enter sight. But Wilder says, oh no, slams the door on Novon V2, dropping the Legion off here, as Stevo's going to pick up a kill onto Interitus, making sure that the fuse charges will not lay waste to everybody down below. That also dropped the fuser onto here, as Eraser Rain is going to peek with the SMG-12 and drop down Stevo. here will finish him off after a cheeky little reload, leaving it to a 2v2 position. And even though Eraser Rain does barely have any HP, on the flip side of that, Baboon has also been lit from the previous engagement with Leary inside bar, so the health pool is insanely close on both sides of here, as Wilders is going to be taking a whole lot of damage coming out of that Maestro Cam. Baboon's going to throw a quick pair and start swinging out into this main hallway, drop down Eraser Rain, continue spraying with his 81 bullets, but he's not going to be able to find Wilder. It's all left up to Miguelito versus Wilder, as he's going to continue to try to blast away everybody in his path on the Jackal. He could try to track him to find his exact location, but if he doesn't do any drone work or anything properly, oh! I was going to say that he might find a sneaky position of a bandit in an unforeseen location, but it doesn't matter when you can just click ahead like that. The Jackal clutches up the round and takes the first one on attack for the CEA rejects.
A very smart sub on the part of CEA, as Wilder has made his impact known in this round, getting himself some pretty good kills. A big kill in blue hallway, rotating all the way back down to main stairs and finally sweeping up that bandit right at the end. Great play. I think, you know, one of the plays that was really underrated in that was just the aggression coming out from the Cade, going up those main stairs and taking out both the blitz and the fuse. I feel like that put the defense in a good position to win that round, but unfortunately they weren't able to close it out, as the heroics of Wilder in a clutch 1v1 situation, smooth as you like, able to take out that bandit and finally get a round on the side of the attackers on this clubhouse map that's really hard to attack.
You know, we talked about how last round the attacking lineup stank. This is even worse. This is a tuna sandwich left in your lunchbox for 3 weeks. It is horrible. Because they brought the Finka this time too. So you have a Dokkaebi, a Lion, a Jackal, a Finka, and a Blitz. This is a Silver's worst nightmare, as Blitz is already even difficult to take care of. Imagine him even faster.
Oh no. I don't know. I don't know if I want to watch this.
We shut off the stream for like the
next
3 minutes and
30
just go straight into the next round.
What I can do is I can just turn off the game capture and we can just hear for like a full minute, okay? All right, turning off the game capture.
Okay, Duke has alerted us that we're just gonna go purely off audio. So you guys don't have to burn your eyes on the lineup that CEA has done. It's only gonna be us. You guys don't have to deal with it. We're gonna bear the brunt of the misfit island of toys that is CEA rejects.
And guys, I'm turning it back on. Sign that. God, shouldn't have signed it. They put me in these situations. Okay, Steve-O and Aviator are gonna pick off. It appears to be Sniper Wolf and Leary, and Aviator find himself another aggressive kill, and Miguelito, all of a sudden it's a 5v1. And oh my gosh!
We shut the stream off for 30 seconds, and it's a 30-second round.
I think he had it back on, but that, I feel like, you know, believe what you want about how the world works, but if you don't think karma's real, I'm just pointing to that round. I'm pointing to that round. Did they even drone? Did they drone? Did they use?
They didn't even they got into strip. That was it. Everybody else died outside a window.
Okay. I have myself unmuted because I just want to explain that I turned the footage back on because I felt like something was about to happen, and my instinct said, "Turn it on. This is gonna be good."
Well, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you turned it back on, dude, because that was something that I'm gonna have to go back and watch, because I blinked while it happened and I have no idea what happened. So
I watched the whole thing and I don't know what happened.
CEA Rejects is my favorite team by far in this entire summer league. I am teams. Do they have merch? They don't have merch. Does CEA have merch?
But speaking of CEA merch, we can go ahead and take this quick little. We can pipeline this straight into thanking our wonderful sponsors. As joined with us once again is Corsair, being our big boy sponsor. If you need any great high quality peripheral gears or anything to fuel your gaming, you can make sure to go over to Corsair.com and pick up any of their wonderful products. They've helped us so much in running this league. They've beefed up the prize pools, They've done giveaways. They've really done it all and are definitely back in our corner.
Hey, C-Dubs.
Yes.
I'm really in the market for like a keyboard. Do you think does Corsair offer those?
Yes, they do offer
Oh.
some really nice keyboards.
Oh, well, that's phenomenal news. I think I'll go.
Yeah,
pick
it's
one up
great
at
news.
www.corsair.com.
Yeah, make sure to go over there as well as Taco. This is your first time casting. Ooh, Leary takes out Baboon quickly. Are you getting a little bit tired yet?
Me, I feel like I could do this for hours. I
Well,
feel
if
like
you're on the other side, I know Duke's probably getting a little bit sleepy. It's past the Boomer's bedtime. As Leary says goodnight to Steve-O. If you want to make sure you're staying at as high energy as us casters are and the players, you can go over to rogueenergy.com and get a little bit of a caffeine kick, a little bit of craziness coming out of their wonderful energy supplement. If you use code CEA at checkout, you will make sure to secure 10% off your order. As well as if you want to rep the CEA rejects, you're all out of luck. If you want to rep CEA on your body, you can head over to our friends over at whatsnew.gg and make sure to pick up any of our wonderful merchandise pieces. There's some more things out in the works, so make sure to stay tuned on that front. But if you want some beautiful joggers, which I'm actually wearing right now, they're insanely comfortable, as well as a dad hat. You need to cover up your hair if you're on base cam or something like that. I have to do that because I don't feel like doing my hair. You want a wall scroll for your wall, or you need a new high-quality mouse pad repping the CEA logo, you can head over onto the CEA tab, whatsnew.gg, and pick up any of that wonderful merch. But we're going right back into the action. The CEA rejects are up 5-3, leaving all up to Novon, Aviator, and Miguelito. Baboon and Steve-O have both fallen quite quickly, as Enteritus has fallen all the way down dirt and is in sight as Monty. Leary's not far behind him, and he does have the diffuser. Miguelito's furiously trying to fight so many angles at the same time. He feels like the weight of the whole world is crushing down on his shoulders. But if I know anything, it is pressure makes diamonds, and Aviator is going to pick up a kill onto a racer ring, as well as finding himself taking control of Kitchen. But he doesn't know the Sniper Wolf is there, but it doesn't matter as he just flicks around and gives him the old 180 straight to the dome. Also, the Monty doesn't seem to know he's right above it. He's going to pick up a triple kill and bring it right back into their favor. He might think about just running straight across here, but as the other backside presence, Wilder is going to take on Novon. It's all left up to Miguelito and Aviator against Leary and Wilder, who have both taken a good amount of damage and are about 1 to 2 shot from any gun in the game. But Leary is going to take out Miguelito, leaving it all up to Aviator. Try to ace clutch this out for his round.
And now Aviator left in a pretty tough situation as Leary is going to get that plant down in the church site, and Wilder is going to get that jackal track on him now. It seems as though if the attackers can try to, just calm down and play this normally, they should have this round with no problem. But Aviator says that he's going to try to push the tempo and try to find these attackers before they can find him. It seems like he does not realize that the jackal is holding him in the church. He does look at it, looks away right at the wrong time, and Wilder is able to close that incredibly strange round, and that's going to give another one to the attackers, I believe. Is it now?
It is
4-2. Switching sides.
Yeah.
We are gonna be
so another
sides.
4-2 split, which
Not
is not
bad.
the end of the world
Not
from
bad.
CEA rejects.
But again, as we did see on the last map, that lack of structure on defense, because this map is a very structured map. I feel like if you don't kind of do things a certain set way, you will be punished, and I have a very hard time believing that the defenders are going to do it that set way. But hey, who knows?
We're gonna see the shields being brought out for Marquette, so maybe we're gonna see a structured Monty push. Actually, as soon as I talk about it, they're just gonna bring the Capital. They're gonna bring the heat and probably try to burn out a Racer Rain on the Bandit if he tries to Bandit trick the main exterior CCTV wall.
See
which, yes,
See that? ¿Qué es la hora?
it is 10:26.
No, mi amigo. Es la hora del médico de rojo, mi amigo. Leary bringing out the red doctor once again. I have no question that he's going to just lock down these rafters. It's going to be Fort Knox in that garage, just 4 drones are going to be just spilling into the garage, and Leary's going to pick up one of them. So they do realize that the attackers are going to be spawning on that side of the map, so I'm guessing Leary's just licking his chops. I pray to everything that's good and holy that he does not just spawn peek and throw away his life right here, because I want to see some heroics from El Medico de Rojo, and he can't do that if he's 6 feet under. So I'm just really looking forward to this round.
Yeah, trying to take away Raptor's control from a Doc that's just continually stimming himself up. You can't use utility because Sniper Wolf is graciously planting all of those ADSs to try to zap away any of the grenades here. Leary actually will be spawn peeking over towards the staircase. And he's actually going to fully open up the door. Do you ever just look at someone and go, what is going on?
What did they know that I don't? That's what I want to know. What does Leary know?
I feel like inside Leary's head, Carmel Danson is always playing. I feel like it is always playing.
And despite his aggression, no attackers or defenders have fallen so far in this map, and the Maverick trick is going to come out from these attackers. Pretty standard stuff trying to take this site without a Thatcher, which they did ban the Thatcher, so I'm sure they knew that they were going to have to do this. And it seems as though they're doing it effectively. It seems as though they're missing a little corner there. But Leary and Eraserrain going to be holding down this Raptors. Playing 2 on Raptors is something that you don't usually see, but it seems like they're not really opting to have any real roaming strategy.
Yeah, typically with Clubhouse, it's one of those interesting maps that you don't necessarily need a strong roam presence on any of the sites to be effective. But Leary's going to fall at the hands of Stevo as El Medico de Rojo de Emils. He falls, and he's going to pick up a second one onto Eraserrain as the Habana is just going on an absolute tear over in the bottom garage area. Raptors control has fallen fully, and Aviator is going to continue the pain train onto Enteritus over towards construction, as the rest of these attackers are going to slowly constrict their way into sight and blitz their way on in. But Sniper Wolf is going to stop Miguelito, but he's going to fall right into Aviator's hands and get pistoled to the back as Marquette takes another round and grows their lead 5-2.
It seems like the defenders did have a pretty set strategy for that round, but the attackers just got in there, and the banana clips just got to peeling as they take out 4 defenders real quick. Sniper Wolf able to pick up 1, but it seems like the attackers have just gained more and more confidence. Or sorry, the Marquette side have just gained more and more confidence as this map has continued. As season now, we're going to see a Cali. So it seems like they are trying to, differentiate their attacker, operators just a little bit. A Cali and a Glass. Nope, Zofia. Never mind.
I'm going to test your game sense right here.
No,
what's wrong with this picture? Or what's right with this picture, I guess. It's right in a glorious way.
That's weird. That's a great question. It seems something's telling me that there's just something beautiful happening on my screen, but I'm, pretty smooth brain, so I just can't really seem to figure it out. What you want to point me to it?
Look at the bottom of your screen and see that we are going to bar stock room.
Oh wow. I was trying to. So we're just going to ignore the Tachanka, but we do see the bar.
That's normal. That's normal.
That's
for
right.
CEA rejects.
That's right. That's pretty good. That's their kind of set strategy. That's an operator that's been pretty, a bit of a standard operator for the CEA rejects. But the bar strategy is something that you don't see often, as the sausage is going to do some damage, because the AA-12 unfortunately did, lose its disruptive capabilities in its recent patch. But the Tachanka is going to be setting up, watching this stock door. This is dirty. This is just dirty. Maybe they do practice. Maybe they practice every day. Because how do you even come up with this stuff? It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It is absolutely brilliant. This is a 5-head to the most insane level, as Enteritus not only has the idea of being the Tachanka, but also the foresight to rip open the door and allow Leary to not only place a shield, but also a frost trap, reinforcing and really doing absolute overkill towards the stock door. However, Enteritus is going to be like, hey, I smell something. I smell them pushing backside. I can hear those drones, and he's going to move his turret over towards the billiards area. Oh my gosh. He's on the hatch, and he can get away.
Wow, that is... I'm in awe. Let me just say one thing real quick.
Is he hovering with a shotgun to break the hatch?
Will it break his...
I think it breaks the turret,
Oh, well,
but it would save Tachanka's life. But Sniper Wolf, it doesn't matter, as he's going to take out Aviator as a hard fragger on the side of Marquette. Falls at the hands of the masterfully played Mozzie, as Maestro is going to keep on ripping through. 81 bullets of pain, flying down range and not connecting a single one so far. But Baboon is taking the CRSX here as Devo picks up Sniper Wolf. Leary's going to frag out onto Novon. And the Tachanka is going to be downed by that sniper rifle that Callie brings in her back pocket. Somebody's outside, and they seem to know where he is. But Miguelito's just going to keep on peeking around, trying to take control of any vertical pressure here, and trying to get rid of all these players that have made site their home.
And it seems as though the attackers don't really know how to go about pushing this site. That is something that, you know, kind of the unpredictability of the CEA rejects is kind of working to their advantage, because there's still a minute and 15 left. And this site is something that's, you know, right in the middle of the map. So you'd think that they would have a lot more map control than they already do. But you see Stevo still outside trying to find where these defenders are chilling. And it seems as though Miguelito, kind of on a solo roam clear himself, probably not going to find anybody, as it seems that the defenders have kind of hunkered down into this site. Going to be interesting to see how they try to approach these last 50 seconds with not a lot of map controls. Baboon is still outside, trying to relocate back to the east side of the map. It seems as though they're trying to reconcile some of their forces and take this east side, as Stevo is going to make some aggressive plays into the lobby of this map. And is not going to find anybody, and is just going to back off and wait for his team. Pretty smart play from Stevo, especially considering he has a diffuser. But Baboon is going to get a banger of a shot onto Enteritus, and now going to use that CSRX Lancer to take out a Maestro cam, kind of killing some of that utility. Something that Callie does bring to the table. That's pretty interesting. But the attackers do have now full control of the stock room. Is now up to Wilder, Eraser, and Leary to try to take this back, as the plant does go down with 40 seconds left. Miguelito's going to fall to Leary, who's going to get a revive. A little field medic action from Leary. Stevo sitting right on top of that diffuser, getting a little bit of pressure from Wilder. He's now pushing on, does catch him from the side and takes out Stevo. Wilder now pushing a lot of pressure on the side, left now just to the lone sniper, American sniper, Chris Kyle, rest in peace, does get taken, sorry, Eraser does get taken out, does get the collat. That is insane. Wait a second. He doesn't know. Oh man, I thought I just saw magic in the making, folks. But the defenders able to get a very aggressive retake onto the stock site, which feels weird to say, the stock site. Despite the heroics from Callie, a little bit of phase up there. Unfortunately, the defenders do get that defuse off, now in a 5-3 situation.
You know, that might, we see it in chat, that might have been the first time bar has ever been brought in CEA history.
You know what that win rate is?
It's 100%.
Infinite.
No, you can think, because it's been brought one time. It's been
okay.
One
the
time,
win-loss ratio. The win-loss ratio.
Yep.
Is
it is an infinitely better site than all of the other ones.
Oh yes. Sniper Wolf, stick it. Oh wait, the 6 pick has already come out. Yeah, she's gonna stick it.
Yes,
Clash.
You're one of your favorite operators. But
man, I love
close. There can't be a close second for Warden, because nobody's even remotely close. But a second by proxy, I guess.
Yeah.
You could say like Clash is your favorite operator on defense, like, because Warden's a given.
Well, Warden,
so, he isn't even
an outlier, right?
He's not even factored in.
Yeah. Like, you know how you see, you know, Ubisoft will put out these charts of, you know, operator pick rates and win rates and stuff like that. And you see all the operators, and then Jaeger is just off the chart. It's very similar to that. Like, you still say, hey, that operator gets picked a lot, but it's not even close to Jaeger. Not even close. Like, you see some weird lineups from these defenders, but they've brought a Jaeger more often than not. Even the CEA rejects are like, yeah, we need a Jaeger. All right, sure, we can have a Tachanka, a Cav, and a Clash, but we need a Jaeger.
Yeah, exactly. Jaeger's just so ingrained into every single operator lineup, because he not only... Oh, no. Leary, you missed the Leary spawn peek! No! But Leary takes the dome off of Novon. It's probably going to be...
Hit him with the "You're welcome"?
He hit him with the "You're welcome."
Wow.
Oh.
kind? I guess it's kind.
Yeah, it's kind. Better than a good night.
Very smart play from the Tachanka, though, just getting out of dodge while he still can. These attackers scared to pick up the diffuser because they still fear the Lord raining down hellfire upon them, but he does get away safe. But it seems as though he's not done with his reign of terror because they got 3 people locked on to this Maverick. Baboon's going to have to play this next little bit very carefully. The CEA from Wilder, sorry, the C4 from Wilder not going to be able to get through the hole. Some nades going to come through, and Baboon is going to try to get this Maverick trick off despite the heavy pressure on the other side as well, with 4 defenders locking it down, and Cav still just in. Oh gosh. Cav, we're trying to escape. I have no idea what's happening. I'm lost. I've been broken. This is my first cast, and I thought maybe like, oh, maybe I'll be, you know, casting Rainbow Six Siege, but it appears not. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, it's our game, but it's not their game.
How's this wall not? Where's the wall?
Yeah, it's the bottom left corner for him.
Okay.
Yeah. But they can't seem to get this wall opening. Time keeps dwindling away over and over again. Marquette they're stalling out on this attack just a little bit. And we see Racering with the balls of steel re-barricade a window that just got shot out.
Still 5 defenders alive for this defense with 50 seconds left. The attackers are going to have to make some plays as Cav is just repositioning herself into a very aggressive position. Aviator has no idea that there's a Cav bearing down behind her. And Cav doesn't seem to know that there's an IQ. She might have heard that pistol shot, but it appears not, as Interitus is just going to chill, as Baboon's going to pick up Wilder, finding it a now manageable 4v4 situation. It's weird. You see Baboon's going to pick up another one, as Sniper Wolf is also going to take out Miguelito with that SMG. Steve-O going to find Sniper Wolf, with now in a 3v2 situation, favoring these attackers with 18 seconds left. A lot of stuff is going to have to happen in these next 15 seconds. I'm going to let CDAPS talk about it because I'm running out of breath.
Yeah, but 1-shots are going to go out. The Aviator's going to fall, but Steven's going to get a quick little refrag onto Eraser Rain. He's going to be tapping away on that laptop, and it's all up to him as he's going to be trying to catch up the player through the hatch with a Pokeball, but the diffuser's going to go down nonetheless. Cav's going to be placing that silent step, but whip out the glue gun here. Maybe trying to seal away the fate of anybody that crosses her path. More shots are going, but none are connecting. Unfortunately, Baboon and Steve-O versus Interitus, as the weight of the world is on the Cav's shoulder. He does seem to know that there's a player over towards the wall, and he's going to go for the interrogation, and Steve-O's going to go and try to get the refrag. He gets it off, but it's not quite enough with the timing, as you have to respect the absolute will and determination of any Cav main, as Interitus gets off the interrogation.
You know, if that last operator is not a 8-speed Ash, I think he gets that off.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
That was a calculated risk on the part of Interitus, and unfortunately, he wasn't very good at math.
Leary, even though he has a 33 in his name, might not be the best at math, but as the 33 he did get a spawn peek onto the Tachanka. He did call it in the beginning of the game, and I respect it, but ¿Qué hora es?
¿Qué hora es, mi amigo? Es la hora del médico de rojo. Leary, I respect you so much because you have so many elite skins. Oh no, don't
tease him. Don't tease him. Could see an Oryx coming out.
Yeah, man.
I wish there was a shield on the board for the side of Marquette, because I still have yet to cast watching an Oryx tackle a Monty, because I feel like that would be just one of the best interactions to cast. But it seems as if I'm going to be just teased just a little bit longer, as Marquette has crossed that 6-point threshold here. They have secured at least a partial win, but they smell the blood in the water and are going to hope to ice out this round in the quick fashion and secure another win on their path into the playoffs. However, CEA Rejects are just fighting for pride at this point, as if they have to win 3 rounds in a row to try to force this partial loss. They're fully locked out of getting any points, so everything you see here for the rest of the round because their pure determination and mental fortitude being put on display.
It seems as though, you know, the side of Marquette have had a lot more success in the frags department. You got Steve-O with 13, Aviator with 10, and Baboon with 12, I believe. And yes, Baboon with 12. And they have just been, you know, kind of going crazy on these poor CEA rejects. But Leary is able to somehow scoop up 9 kills, 2 of which are coming at the hands of a Tachanka, which is incredibly impressive. I will, you know, ignore the just searing pain of him switching off El Medico de Rojo, but I understand. You know, at this point, it's like, you know, let's pack it in. We don't need to try our best with, you know, with the dock. But it seems as though Marquette is going to opt for a west side take of the map, except for Aviator, who might be trying to put a little bit of sneaky pressure on the backside of the map. But Baboon is already down in Oil Pit, probably heard Leary drop above him now. Leary seems to be unaware that the Cali is down below and does get taken out by Baboon. Cali using that new SMG to full effect, taking out the roamer in Leary, and now she can put a little bit of pressure on this long angle in the blue hallway. Ash going to be playing aggressive, pushing down these main stairs, going to find that Clash who's going to stand in her way, and Tara does hit him with a little hello. And now she's being pushed back as the attackers are trying to put a little more pressure on this Clash. And Novon is going to find a frag onto Wilder in this blue hallway. Aviator pushing his way into the church site now. Has to deal with the Clash, but at low HP. Might get taken out, but Eraser Rain's going to finish it off before the Clash can. And now is left in a 4v3 situation on the side of the attackers. And Terra has not a lot of HP, which is not what you want to see from a shield player who might be, you know, hit with some explosive. But Eraser Rain and Sniper Wolf in a good position to kind of get some frags on these people who seem to be stuck in the blue hallway. If Eraser Rain can try to hold down this rotate, they will be stuck in blue and try to force to push their way into the armory, right into the eyes of Sniper Wolf. And Sniper Wolf does get one onto Baboon, now in a 3v3 situation with still a minute, which is plenty of time for the attackers to try to figure something else out. But it seems like they might try to sell out and go for this blue hall take. And Terrace, with not a lot of HP, does decide to fall back and try to play more for this late round play as the Clash, you know, is a real detriment to the attackers. Sniper Wolf gets another one onto the head of Miguelito. And this position for the defenders has proven to be a very dangerous one, especially considering how these attackers have all kind of stacked themselves up into blue. That being said, Ash has made her way back again now to the bottom of the main stairs. Going to throw a flash and force her way into Moto. But Eraser Rain going to just... maybe he's using a rented mouse, but he seems to have whiffed pretty bad there. The Clash getting a little bit of pressure from the Capitao, as now they're putting more pressure. Sniper Wolf getting a beautiful shot on to Steve-O, leaving it now down just to Novon, who's trying to hold off these ravaging defenders. And Sniper Wolf going to close it off again. A beautiful round, a 4K from Sniper Wolf. Absolutely stunning stuff. You would think there would have been a lot more danger, but that position proved to be very effective for the defenders.
Yep, and Interidus has a message for everybody. He says, if you're asking what you're watching, that's normal because he's not sure and he's playing. So right here, this is match point.
Can we just talk about some of those shots from Sniper?
You know, I was thinking just the entire time here, we have El Medico de Rojo on the red dock. What are we going to call the blue that's in this?
Yes! Don't switch off, Leary. Lock it in.
Taco just got so excited because he sees a warden.
I'm going to ignore Leary this entire round just because he asked for us to watch a warden.
It is bar stock once again, and Sniper Wolf is going to take away that 6th pick off of the dock onto the Oryx. Both MP5s, but one's a little bit more athletic as the chunky dock does not have the ability to just jump through hatches. Yeah. But we are going to see the stylish, dapper man in the form of Leary on the warden. Could be quite interesting because I see a direct counter to the smoke grenades of the Jackal and the smoke darts.
One thing that's interesting is if you look at this defensive lineup, say the attackers have been running a blitz all game and just doing work. This lineup would be a blitz's worst nightmare. Like, you got the traps and Capkin, you got the absolute body slam of Oryx, you got the smoke grenades from Smoke, and you got, you know, you can't blind Warden, and he'll do some damage. He'll duck, dodge, and dive, and, you know, comb his mustache while he gives you one in the melon. This is a interesting lineup for something that probably doesn't seem very applicable. Oh, the spawn peek onto the drone.
He just ran out on a drone.
Also, is that a long barrel on an SMG-11? That is some... That's power. I respect
That is power. It might have a little bit of recoil, but it's going to have a whole lot of power.
Speaking
as Leary's going to be jumping out with... Oh! Oh my...
Nerf Warden, man. I don't know what to tell you. He's too good.
It's... At this point, the SMG-12 probably has the most recoil in the entire game. But Leary didn't care as the first bullet just went straight through the dome of the thermite, and that is no hard briefing for you, as the Jackal tracks are going to be pinging away the locations of smoke. He's going to be stuck between a rock and a hard place as there's just a gigantic pinch on all of this player inside of stock. He could just drop the hatch if he desires, but that will be relinquishing a good amount of map control as Leary smells some blood over towards stock and is going to be ripping down the barricade of garage, checking is for claymores, trying to shoot a drone, missing because there's a whole lot of recoil on the SMG-12, and just keep on popping in and out as he continues his absolute crackhead moves of not letting go of Shift W, even if he's on defense. Leary's gonna pick up another one onto Steve-O with a beautiful another one down. He just wants to take out every hard breacher, but Miguelito finally shuts him down with a headshot straight to the dome. The only way to kill a warden is with a even better shot. Sniper Wolf's gonna get a kill onto Aviator, evening out the count. But it does seem as Marquette just cannot attack Bar, but another refrag is going to go out as unfortunately Wilder dies, but Enteritus is going to bring it right back, leaving it in a 1v3 clutch potential for Miguelito. Diffuser's on the ground, and it is in a known position for the CEA rejects who are just hovering around that location. Going to start smoking it off and trying to kill away as much time as possible. And there's also still Capcan traps, as the timing's going to be so unfortunate. Sniper Wolf's going to sneak on around and drop down Miguelito, and that's going to bring it to 6-5. Final point of regulation here, as everything is on the line for the CEA rejects with their pride. They can turn this from a full loss into a partial loss, and right there, that is only bragging rights. They'll still get 0 points, but deep in your heart, as the CEA rejects, you know you did your best.
Hey, C-Dubs. I want to make a Michael Reeves reference here. Am I allowed?
Sure. Are you on cast right now?
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Crackhead.
Well, thanks, Duke. Anyways, going into this match point round, let me just say, have the CEA rejects discovered a new meta in the bar stockhold? Am I allowed to say that? Did they have the Orcs playing in Blue Hole under that hatch ready to get some aggressive plays up in the stock as the attackers are putting some pressure on it? I'm not saying they're reinventing the wheel over here, but they just might be. They just might be. Am I allowed to say
it's
that?
really funny. I see Sua from G2 in chat, and I think he's taking notes as the analyst for Pro League. That's insane, man.
What's
that's
up,
crazy.
man? What's going on?
The most crazy mind in Pro League is dipping all the way down to CEA rejects level strats, and we're gonna see it on the biggest stage at 2021 Invitational.
And now for this defense, we have finally hit home with El Médico de Rojo, and it couldn't be at a bigger stage. They realized that they might just have a chance to tie this one up, so it's time to bring out the big guns. I mean, you got three MP5 variants on the side of the defense, and 2 of them are in the hands of some of the most capable fraggers in Sniper Wolf and Leary, who've been doing some serious damage on this defensive half of the map. And I'm really interested to see if they can finally just clutch it up and find a tie on the second map, despite some of the toughest odds that I've seen in a while. And my
this would be
casting.
Yeah, this would be an absolute. Oh, we're gonna see the helmet go right. Oh, Leary whips onto the Sophia, and that would have been
Don't peek it
huge
again.
pick.
You.
As Miguel, he is a madman. He's peeking again. There's no way he jumps out of this window, right? No, it's Leary. There's a 100% chance he's jumping out of that window. Nope, never mind. He's gonna run away. He values his life, which I respect. Oh, he's gonna take out Steve-O. As I'm gonna go to Rojo, just keeps on pumping and keeps on chunking along over towards Bar. He's just gonna stop to heal himself up just a little bit, give him a little bit of a new lease on life, turning over a new leaf, New Year's resolution style. as he's gonna just continue running around. Nightmare, 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 crackhead, crackhead, crackhead. As he runs all the way out and tries to find the Capital who's over on the CC window. However, he did not run out just enough, and he's gonna choose to reside over inside of stock. He does not seem to see the drone that is very clearly out of place, and he will actually shoot the wrong barricade, the wrong side of that shelf, but maybe he just wants them to know he's in stock, and so they'll challenge him, and then he'll just kill them all.
One thing I really respect on the side of CEA Rejects is once they got closer to actually being able to tie this map, they haven't changed up their playstyle to something a little more conventional. They've realized that this kind of craziness has been working for them, and so they're sticking with it, and I really respect that. That being said, Aviator's going to pick up one on Sniper Wolf and put a little bit of pressure on the backside of the site, as now Construction has complete control of the attackers. Some shots going off onto the top of Red Hall. Aviator going to be knocked down just to about under 25 health. And just a minute and 15 left. Baboon is going to get a breach onto that cash wall, and just like that, it seems the tides have switched. The attackers now putting a ton of pressure on this site, but Leary has found his way back to the rafters, usually where you would expect a Doc to be, but he doesn't get there. It's about a minute left, and he's going to be sitting there holding that cross from Construction into cash. A very powerful spot for a Doc to sit with that ACOG.
Yeah, but what's going to be even more powerful is Novon still has all of the Capital utility on the boards. Miguelito is going to get a pick onto the mute, finally ending that area of the map going as they're going to be pushing in. Pulse has rotated down to below. Leary's going to get Baboon and drop him off the board here with a beautiful headshot all the way from the garage rafters on that punch hole here. But it's a 3v3 with match point. The Capital's still on the board and can likely get some smokes down. This is where you would have wanted to have a Warden. But Eraser Rain's going to get another kill and drop that Capital off, so the smokes are a mute point. As the Nitro Cell's going to go and unfortunately not connect as it was here. Aviator's going to pick up Eraser Rain, and Miguelito's going to pick up Leary, and it's all up to Interitus for the clutch or kick position. He's going to be trying to find the planter and has the shotgun in his hand. He can't quite find where he is, and Miguelito's going to start blasting away on the diffuser. As it's now a 1v1, he's going to see exactly where he is. He's going to be able to blast with a shotgun. Oh, he takes him out, gets the clutch!
No way! Interitus! Something that I thought I wouldn't see. I was wondering why he brought the shotgun, but now I see. He burned the C4 early. He's being real careful right now for Claymores, as anyone would be. But he burned the C4 right away, which I thought was going to, cost him that round there. But luckily, he had the shotgun, and he was able to get that frag onto whoever that was at the bottom of the red stairs, but close out the round and with a 6-6 tie, finding a partial win for the side of Marquette. That's poetry. I don't see how that could have ended any differently. Wow, look at that.
I can't believe Interitus went into that round with 3 kills. He got the final 2, and that's what I call impact frags. 1v2 clutch, they're like, oh, we're going against their worst player. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The Pulse has the black ice drip, and that shotgun sent a whole lot of buckshot downrange, and it caught all the bullets of the Nomad and the Zofia. The Pulse scanner was expertly used, and that was one of the best final rounds I've ever seen here. And that was an absolute joy to watch and cast. Mm-hmm. With Marquette ultimately getting the partial win, we could have them in for an interview if they choose to do so. However, I do not know at this point if we will be indulging in the interview process.
As my first real experience casting, let me just say, are they all like this?
They are not all like this.
Okay, good. Because if they were, I don't think I have the stamina. I need to go jog.
Yeah, this was definitely more of an exercise of how fast can we talk and what sort of funny things we could say, as opposed to actually usually use a little bit more brain to try to read what's happening. But this was just MP5 go Bert. Alrighty, so to chat's honor and their most likely insane amounts of joy, we are bringing in Miguelito into the interview chamber. And hello, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing pretty well. And first question right off the board is, what is your favorite operator?
Favorite operator has to be Sophia. Obviously, got the elite skin. I play a lot of her, whether it's ranked or in my first official match, I guess.
First official match.
Yes.
Looking, I couldn't tell. You seemed poised. I mean, you looked, cool as a cucumber, in the hot seat, and I respect it. I really do.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, so you guys were able to clutch out the partial win, which was definitely a feat among itself, trying to read into the high level, quote unquote, high level strats that the CEA rejects are
Yeah.
constantly employing. But I do believe that that has pushed you guys into the playoffs, correct?
Correct. It has pushed us in the playoffs. The I know the outcome of this game, whether we won or lost, I think we still would have been in playoffs regardless. Had we got the 2-0, I believe we would have taken first in the division. I don't know how it plays out now. But yeah, we've clinched playoffs and looking forward for to see how the rest of the team can do with it going into it.
So I assume as a team of your guys' magnitude, Marquette, you guys have definitely made a name of yourselves in CEA Open last year, making it to, I believe, either quarter or semifinals and playoffs. You guys definitely have your eyes on the full
Mhm.
prize, correct?
Correct. I mean, obviously, going into summer league, we at the start we didn't know if we were gonna have enough guys to uh, have to roster a full team. And me myself, I'm coming from Counter Strike. I decided, hey, like I play enough Siege. Let's go into it. I have 75 hours in this game, but hey, I can. I have enough. I have enough aim. Let's go for it. We're gonna go for it all. We're gonna try and win this thing, and we're just gonna have fun with it. We're gonna have fun with it first and foremost. But obviously, the biggest thing that we want to do is win. And so going into playoffs, that's our goal: is winning the whole dang thing.
Mhm. Yeah, your CS pass does actually kind of answer a lot of questions because watching you play, it seems like you did play a little bit more reserved as compared to your teammates who are, hyper aggressive. And you just kind of sitting back and letting it play out. But when you did have to get some frags, like there was one play on when you were Zofia on a cafe where I think you got a 3K, and
Yes.
it was impressive. I'll say it was really impressive. So I'm excited to see what you do in the future.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And with that, I guess my final question would be of it'll probably be a little bit more of a brain question as we've had some jokes going on. I guess was how did you guys directly try to respond to the really hard strats of really randomness we saw out of the CEA rejects?
um Honestly, we were just kind of looking at just like playing our game. We felt that we have better aim, but it was just the way that they were playing was extremely catchy. It was catching us extremely off guard. Whenever like when you go back to the
Mhm.
cafe, they still played organized Rainbow Six, but when you start throwing Oryx and I mean, yeah, I guess they did do Chanka on Cafe, but like when they started throwing all these random operators on
On
the second
Clubhouse.
map,
Yeah.
it just was catching us really off guard. They were running out everywhere. And so I think our biggest counter to that was just playing a little more passive and then just taking the map control as we could, little by little. Unfortunately, we just couldn't get enough tech rounds on the attacking side, but at least we do come out with the tie.
Yeah, it's definitely I mean, you guys got a partial win in the end of the day. You get 2 points on the scoreboard, so it's not something to really be looked down upon. It was a really good performance from both teams. It was an absolute joy to cast. But with that, we'll go ahead and close out our interview and make sure that we will thank our sponsors once again. A big shout out to Corsair. If you need any great gaming products or peripherals, make sure to head over to Corsair.com, as well as if you want to rep any CEA merch or any other merch that What's New.gg has to offer, go over to their website and help with any of the great products that they do. As well, if you're feeling a little bit of tiredness settle in like I am, you can go ahead and go over to rogueenergy.com and make sure you pick up some of their wonderful caffeine supplement and help you get a little pep in your step, a little bit of a caffeine kick. So at the end of the day, I've been Seed Apps,
I'm Taco.
and we'd like to wish you guys a great night.